Welcome everybody. So hope you guys had a great weekend, and we're back to things on this Monday. And my name is Mr. Watkins with Tiger Rock Martial Arts of Tallahassee, and today we're going to be working on a couple of different things. So just quick recap of last week. We worked on the first one step. We worked on a couple of things like the elbow strike and some front kicks, but today we're going to change it up a little bit. We're going to have we're going to go over another type of block, and then we will also be going over a different type of strike. So from here, what we're going to do is just getting started. We're going to go ahead and from attention, you have your feet together, your hands on your hips, eyes on us. We're going to take this side, we're going to point those toes that way, and then your other foot is just going to take a small step forward, and then your hands will be up. All right, we always want to have our hands up to protect ourselves. All right, and from here, what we're going to do is taking this front arm, we're going to do what's called the outside block, or as we refer to it in our classes with you guys, is the windshield wiper block, right? Because your arm looks like a windshield wiper in the rain. So all you do is you take your front arm, and you're going to be turning your wrist and snapping it as you follow through, and just moving your front arm across your body this way to block something coming in straight at you, right? So if somebody were to throw straight punches at you, you would block this way, all right? They also block those round kicks that we do. So from here, all right, we're gonna practice a couple of times. So we got our hands up. Every time I count, you guys will just follow along and block with me. Ready? 1, 2, 3, 4. All right, now from here, we're gonna change legs. So again, if you don't know how to get to the L stance, you're gonna take your foot, this foot over here on this side, we're gonna point those toes that way, and then our other foot takes a small step forward. So basically your feet make the shape of an L. And then you got your hands up again. So same thing, taking this front arm, moving it across, turning that wrist. That wrist turn is what gives you all the power in the block. If you don't turn that wrist, there's really no power moving it away from you. All right, so on my count, ready? 1, block, 2, 3, 4. All right, so everybody go ahead and relax. Just really fast with that block. Remember, like I said, that wrist turn's pretty important, but another thing that's really important is how you move your shoulders. Because if you don't get your shoulders, you don't get your body involved. And when you don't get your body involved, you really have no power going into it, because you want to think of a block as moving something away from you rather than just blocking. Because when you think of blocking, you think of something like kind of boring. So when you think moving something away from you, if you're trying to throw a punch at me and I want to block it, I want to move it away from me so it doesn't hit me, right? So I move that block away from me by using my shoulders, using that wrist turn. I get my hips involved, so that way when it all comes together, it moves it away from me. So what we're going to do is we're going to start going over that next thing, because this block is really simple, really easy, shouldn't take too long to get down. And as we practice more and more with the combination that we're going to go over today, it'll make a lot more sense. So from here, what we're going to do is go over our strike. So for this week, we are going to be practicing your guys' knife hand strikes. So basically, your hand is going to make a knife. All right, so you take your hand, you're going to put all of your fingers together where you can't see through your fingers, so there's no spaces, and then you tuck that thumb in. And then from here, if we get back into that L stance that we talked about earlier, I'm going to put my knife hand right on top of my shoulder. And then from here, I just take my elbow, I'm going to point it at my target. So I pointed at you guys since I'm going to be knife handing towards you, and then you're going to extend your knife hand out, and you're hitting with this part of your hand. Now, if you relax your hand, it's kind of squishy, but when you straighten out all those fingers, tuck that thumb in, make it nice and tight, this becomes a little bit harder, a lot harder, and it's easier to strike with. So you're just striking with this part of your hand. All right, and then what we'll do is we'll tuck our other arm underneath, so we're stacking the elbows on top of each other. And then all this hand does is it's gonna go down to your waist as we strike out with our knife hand. So on my count, same thing. We're just gonna throw a couple of those practice strikes. Ready? 1, strike. Ready? 2, strike. And then reset. So what I want you guys to think about is how to get your shoulders involved. When you get your shoulders involved, just like the block, you get a lot more power in that knife hand strike. So I want y'all guys to play around with that, and then I'll show you after our practice ones. Ready? 3. Ready? 4. All right, change legs. So we jump, change legs. All right, so this hand will make my knife hand, so I make those fingers nice and tight, tuck my thumb in, put it on my shoulder, other arms underneath, stack those elbows on top. All right, so from here, if I just slightly turn my shoulders a little bit this way, I have to move my shoulders forward so I can get my knife hand strike out there. And that's an easy way to get your shoulder and your body involved for this knife hand strike. So from here, on my count, same thing. Ready? 1, strike. Ready? 2, strike. Ready? 3. Last one. Blue. Oh, I hope I didn't get any of you guys. 4. All right, so from here, go ahead and relax. What we're gonna do is we're gonna take our block, so that outside block or the windshield wiper block, whatever you wanna call it, and then we're gonna take that knife hand strike and we're gonna start putting things together. So this week, our combination is going to be the outside block into the knife hand strike. All right, so these really simple, and we'll also start going over after this our one step number 2, since like I said at the beginning, we went over one step number 1 last week. So from here, if I'm in my stance, and I'm just showing you guys right now, if I'm in my stance, what you want to think about is after I do my block, instead of going all the way back and then setting up for my knife hand strike, I'm just going to go straight into setting up for the knife hand strike. So if I block, from keeping my arm over here after the block, I just bring it to my shoulder and prepare that knife hand strike, and then just go straight into that. So from here, I want everybody to get into your L stances again. This time we're gonna start with this side. So I'm in my L stance, got my hands up in guard, and then you guys are going to block, knife hand strike on your own. And then as you get a little bit more comfortable with it, I want you guys to get a little bit faster with your striking and your blocking. All right, so I'm gonna give you guys 30 seconds. 30 seconds to practice the block and strike on your own. So that way you can kind of go at your own pace and you don't have to worry about me counting. Ready? Get set and go. So you're blocking and striking, blocking and striking, blocking and striking. And then we just keep going for another 20 seconds. And then as you get more comfortable, you can get a little bit faster. But as you get faster, don't sacrifice your technique just to be fast. So you're still blocking with your shoulders, using your hips, using that wrist turn to push that thing away from you, and then setting up into that knife hand strike, pointing the elbow at your target, striking with the side of your hand, and stop. All right, change legs. So remember, we want to focus on both sides. We want to focus on being able to do things on both sides, because you never know what situation you'll find yourself in. If you're in a situation where, let's say your favorite side's this is my right side, so let's say your favorite side's your right side, and I can't use my right side, I have to use my left side. Well, if I don't practice with my left side enough, then I'm in trouble, right? So that's why we want to practice with both sides, so you can use both sides. Ready? So same thing, 30 seconds, you're going to practice that outside block, knife hand strike. Ready? And go. So we're just blocking, striking, blocking, striking. And just going on your own pace, so you don't have to follow me. You're just gonna keep going, and then like I said, once you get more comfortable, you can get a little bit faster, a little bit faster. Got about 15 seconds left. Make sure you keep those shoulders moving, get the shoulders, your body's involved. So that way you have all the power you need. 5 seconds left. And everybody stop. All right, so go ahead and relax. Shake your arms out, because we've done a lot with our arms. So from here, what we're gonna do is, like I said, we're gonna start working. Now that we've got that combination, we're gonna go ahead and start working on that one step. So one step number 2, we're gonna start piecing it together. So we won't completely finish it today. We'll work on about half of it. All right. And then after we're done with that, I'm gonna go over some different types of drills that you guys can work on between now and the next lesson on Wednesday. So first things first, the one step number 2. Last week's one step was stepping forward, and then you got the outer forearm block, which is the opposite of our windshield wiper block that we practiced today, where the windshield wiper block goes this way, the outer forearm block goes the other way, so it protects things coming from like the side, and then you go into your knee smash, and then you would take your 2 steps back. So today, we're not starting with a block. Today, we're gonna be avoiding. We're gonna step to the side. So somebody's coming at you with that punch, and you're going to sidestep them, all right? So if you're standing, kind of shoulder width apart with your feet, you got your hands up like, oh, hey, whoa, I don't want any, why are you yelling at me? All right, we're gonna sidestep, so we're just kind of stepping out of the way, and then we'll go into that next part in just a second. So just kind of standing like this, got your hands up, ready to, do your blocks, whatever kind of blocks it may be, just in case they cover the distance too fast. So on my count, we're just stepping to the side really fast. All right, ready? 1, step. And then I want you guys to get into the habit of when you step, you're going to be looking at your target. So my target is going to be on the side of me. All right, ready? 2, step. Ready? 3, step. All right, let's step to the other side now. So on my count, we're just stepping this way, and then remember, we're keeping our eyes on the target. If you take your eyes off the target, it's really easy for them to do something sneaky. All right, ready? 1, step. Ready? 2, step. Ready? 3, step. All right, so we're not gonna spend a whole lot of time on that because stepping should be super easy. Now, from here, what we're gonna do is combo in that next part of the one step. So it's going to be a side kick. Last week, we practiced the front kick, so kicking to the front of us. So you can imagine that the side kick is kicking to the side, exactly. From here, if you stay facing me, I stay facing you, we're gonna be shoulder width apart. We're gonna pick our hands up in guard, and then we're going to kick this way. So we're going to turn our head this way, and then I use my hands to follow. I'm going to pick my knee up and point it at you guys. You're gonna pick your knee up and point it at me, all right? So we pick those knees up, and then you wanna keep that foot tucked in nice and tight. And then from here, you're going to push your heel. So this part of your foot, you're gonna push that heel out towards your target. So I've got my knee up, I'm going to push my heel out, pull it back in, set it down. All right, so just go along for about 20 seconds, let you practice that a little bit. So you're gonna pick that knee up, push your heel out, pull it in, set it down. Push up, out, in, down. Up, out, in, down. Up, out, in, down. Got about 10 seconds left. Keep going. So you're picking that knee up, and then pushing it out. And then remember, it's very important to pull that thing back in to set it down, so that way you can control where your body's going. And stop. All right, so now guessed it, we're gonna be practicing that other leg too. So same thing, instead of looking this way, I just look this way. So we're still facing each other, and then those knees are gonna point at each other, and then we push those heels out, pull it back in, set it down. Knees over, out, in, down. So same thing, 20 seconds, go. So pick that knee up, kick, set it back down. Knees up, kick, set it back down. And then keep going, keep going, keep going. You got about 10 seconds left. Picking that knee up, pushing it out, pulling it in, setting it down. About 5 seconds left. Keep it up, keep it up. And go ahead and stop. Now from here, we're gonna combo that in to our side step. So we have our hands up, all right? We got our hands up, and now we're going to go straight into our one step. So from here, we're going to step to the side, just like we practiced. Keeping your hands up, you're gonna step to the side. Then, as I step to the side, I'm going to pick my knee up, I'm gonna side kick at my target, and set my foot down. And then we're gonna reset. So, on my count, we're just going to do that side step into the side kick, and then reset. So, got your hands up. Ready? So, 1, step, knee comes up, kick at your target, set your foot down, and then reset. 2, step, kick, and then reset. Ready? 3, step, kick, and reset. And then as you guys get more comfortable with it, you'll be able to step and kick a lot faster. If you need to slow it down just a little bit, you can. Because I don't want you to feel like you're rushed into doing anything. So now it's time to step this way and then kick with your other leg, all right? So again, on my count, you're gonna step this way, pick that knee up, side kick at your target, and then we'll reset. Ready? So we got our hands up. 1, step, kick, and then reset. 2, step, kick, reset. Ready? 3, step, kick, and then reset. All right, everybody go ahead and relax. Shake your legs out. Did a lot of side kicks there, shake your legs out. All right, so everybody go ahead and just take a seat, listen up. So remember, this week is going to be focused on the outside block or the windshield wiper block like we practiced. We've also got our knife hand strike, and then starting to put together one step number 2. So for that practice, we did our side step into side kick, and then on Wednesday, we will wrap it up and finish one step number 2. From here, some drills that you guys can do between now and Wednesday. If you have somebody that can use like a pillow, or maybe you have one of the hand targets, all right, anything that you can use as a target, you can have somebody step at you with the thing, so that way you can practice that side step and side kick your target. You got things like they can go straight at you, so you can practice your block and your knife hand strike that we did today, all right? And then from there, well, we'll pick up from there on Wednesday. So thank you guys for joining us today, and hope you guys have a great rest of your day.